Most of the threats are not new, they're just old, rebadged as new. What has changed is the threat profile. So what you have, for example, WannaCry, it exploited a system that wasn't patched. That's cybersecurity 101, it's been around for ages. The difference is the tools that were used were tools that were leaked from a nation state. Your script kiddies are now getting access to nation state tools, which wasn't the case before.
Attackers are really taking their time now to really profile organisations. They're looking at your online presence. Who are those senior key figures in your organisation? And they will spend 6 months a year profiling that person, find a way to compromise you, and at that point they will target the people who have high privilege in your network. You're really entering a war zone, a cyber war zone, which can be attacked.
The problem where some businesses aren't really taking any steps to try and protect themselves is that they're complacent. They've managed to run their businesses for years, perhaps decades, without any particular problem, and they're in a why should I have to spend this money point. And it's only going to be when something hits them that they'll finally be triggered into doing something, and then it's going to be pretty painful.
I believe businesses now understand the threat better. They're now looking at their people, process and technology. So it's just a better understanding, context, and there's been precedents of cyber attacks and more press coverage.
But the problem is, of course, they need to have an economic model that makes it worthwhile for them. So it's unrealistic to think they'll do it just out of the goodness of their hearts. We need to look at the whole value chain and how can we build an economic model that means they will be concerned to actually protect their devices.
The responsibility is not only at the manufacturer side, not only at the business side, but also at the consumer side. If you buy a device for a couple of euros, you cannot expect that whole process has been put in place. We should spend a little bit more that certifies that devices have gone through a secure development process before they are allowed on our market.
As an industry, we need to really influence the manufacturers and highlight that we're dealing with critical data, and we really need to take responsibility to include patches, automated patching, firmware updates to really give us a good fighting chance at defending against any attacks that may come.